Good evening and welcome to Hockey Primetime here on NHL Network Radio. We are live at Chickie's and Pete's in South Philly, just steps away from the beautiful Wells Fargo Center where the NHL Draft festivities kicked off this weekend and wrapped up earlier today. Very, very happy that you've joined us here live on NHL Network Radio. We are also live in the beautiful surroundings that we're in right now, home of the famous crab fries at Chickie's and Pete's. I had a chance to give them a whirl. I got to say, I didn't know what to expect. I thought that they were going to be fries that were made out of actual crab meat. Turns out that's not the case. So a little bit of a debate has been settled here. We'll have a little bit more on that later on today. But a great weekend in Philadelphia so far for the NHL entry draft. My name is Conor McKenna. I am the host of this program, and normally out of Hurley's Irish Pub in downtown Montreal. Now, don't tell the people at Hurley's that we're cheating on them here at Chickie's and Pete's in Philadelphia. We have one of those rules where, you know, when you're in a relationship and you go out of town, and if you go out of town, you're allowed to, you know, be unfaithful. It's kind of like that. That's sort of what we have going on with Hurley's Irish Pub today at Chickie's and Pete's in South Philly. And a big thank you to everyone for putting this together. So many people whose names I am going to have to get straight before we wrap things up, but we are very, very excited that you're here. Great crowd in Philadelphia. And you know what? You always hear, everyone's always talking about Philly crowds. Oh, they booed Santa Claus. I am so tired of hearing that. And frankly, after the booing that they gave to Gary Bettman during the first round of the draft festivities yesterday, I am willing to forgive anything a Philly crowd ever does again. Very, very impressed by the comportment. Booing lustily the New Jersey Devils, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the New York Rangers, all getting booed equally. Even the New York Islanders getting some of those boos. So very, very impressed by the showing by the Philly crowd. The Hockey Primetime show, and what this is sort of a collaboration between New Jersey and Montreal. I'm the Montreal guy. Our executive producer, Samuel Lang, is the New Jersey connection. So I know Flyers fans don't have a whole lot of love for Montreal, and same goes, I know, for the New Jersey Devils. So thank you for putting up with us here. And we've got a lot of great guests that we're going to be welcoming in throughout the course of the program. Right off the top, I'm going to be welcoming in Andrew Berkshire. He writes for the SB Nation blog, Habs Eyes on the Prize. Berkshire will be joining me whenever he moseys his way on over here. We've also got Steve Danglekit joining us right off the top as well. So those are my two guests to kick things off. We're like a, I don't want to say sister show of Hockey Unfiltered because we're dudes and this is a hockey show, so it just doesn't feel right to call it a sister show, but we're a brother show to Hockey Unfiltered, and a great lead-in for us. Very, very happy. So many highs and lows from draft weekend, and I want to get to a lot of them, but I have to say, having had a chance to watch it up close, the highest of the high is watching these kids get picked, seeing their parents and how proud their parents are and how proud the kids are, and the weights the weight that has been lifted off their shoulders. The lowest of the low is today turning around and looking at the faces of the kids and the faces of their parents, the kids who didn't get drafted. That was one of the more painful aspects of this entire weekend. But all in all, a very positive experience, and we are very, very happy that you joined us here. I'm on a screen. I don't know if there's things happening behind me. Everyone's laughing here, so I don't know. What are you guys laughing at me? I don't know. Let's get our guests over here. Those two guys standing at the bottom of the stairs. We're going to be bringing in our first guests of the 2-hour program. We're with you until 7 o'clock tonight, like usual, on Hockey Primetime, Eastern Standard Time. The difference is, always, I'm talking with people on the phone, right? Who's going to be in Montreal at any given time? We got to go around the National Hockey League, give equal love to everyone. Today, it's different. It's a face-to-face conversations that we're going to be having with our various guests. So I didn't really warn too many of them about that. There wasn't a whole lot told about dress code. Come on over. Yes, this is the way that we're doing it. This is Hockey Primetime on NHL Network Radio. My name is Conor McKenna. I am your host. I host the Montreal Canadiens radio network broadcasts on the TSN 690 Habs radio network, and I've been hosting this show for years, and very, very happy to take the show on the road and bring it to Philadelphia, and very, very pleased to welcome in our first guests of the June 20, I'm going to say 28th. I want to say 28th. Andrew Berkshire, my buddy from Montreal, Habs Eyes on the Prize on SB Nation. Andrew, how you doing?
Very well, and we are indeed buddies. I can confirm that.
It is true. Thank you very much. And Steve Danglekit, host of the Steve Dangle podcast, and also quite
lot of
a
stuff.
big timer on the LeafsNation.com.
Now, hey, let's not go overselling me. I feel bad. I'm getting married in 3 weeks, and
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Or Mazel Tov.
Sure.
Congratulations. Yeah,
But
okay.
my fiance, they go, oh, so what does your future husband do? And she's got to go, he's a blogger. And it's got to be hard for her.
It doesn't
It's
carry
gotta
the
be really
stigma
hard.
that it once did.
No.
What does she do?
She's a teacher.
She's a teacher. You guys are going to be
the real
fine.
Oh, yeah.
Big money. Yeah.
Oh,
good,
yeah. Totally.
good.
Sugar mama.
Nice. Good. Well, I think that's all. I don't think it's not the same as it once was. I mean, Andrew's a blogger. He's living the life.
And
there.
we both drive Bentleys, so.
It's true.
It's true.
And Andrew's actually married and has been for years. I mean, he's like a full-on grown-up.
Yeah, almost.
Whoa.
No?
I mean, I can cook my own food.
For example,
Oh, I make a mean shepherd's pie.
pork chops too. You're always
Yes,
talking about
yeah,
pork chops.
The double thick from Costco.
Those are the
are
ones.
the ways to go.
Those are the ones. All right, guys. So the LeafsNation.com. So of course a longtime observer, and I think we could say a pretty big fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Longtime lamenter.
It has been. Look, we'll get to the Leafs in a second. The Canadiens as well. So we'll go back and forth. The so-called arch rivals, the rivalry. I'm watching Marc Bergevin.
Rivals?
Marc Bergevin and Dave Nonis today, right? Tete-a-tete, having a little conversation. They're talking Josh Georges. What's going on here? These two guys can't be buddies. They're supposed to be mortal enemies. I want more like water squirting and stuff like that. But let's start with the Leafs, the big trade earlier today.
Yep.
Why would the Toronto Maple Leafs...
That's how a lot of trade discussion goes with this team.
It just seems to me, and I said the same thing when Tim Gleason came out last year. The whole time they're talking about Jake Gardiner, right? Jake Gardiner, we don't like this guy. Tim Gleason, that's the kind of guy we want. And then it's like you're trying to corner the market on these rugged, stay-at-home defensemen while maligning puck movers. Is that just an outsider's perspective, or...?
I can't remember who came up with this quote. If I knew, I'd give him the credit. But the Leafs are gearing up to really compete for the 1984 Stanley Cup.
Right.
I think they're putting together the right team for it. I don't get it. Gunnarsson I was a big fan of. Gunnarsson for Roman Polak straight up I'd be pretty cool with. It's the pick and the salary retention I have an issue with. Now, we were talking, if Gunnarsson's hip issue is still a factor, then, yeah, the Leafs didn't do so bad in this deal.
So then who plays with Dion Phaneuf?
I think it's down to me and Berkshire, to be honest. Why not? I mean, they had Mike Koska, they had Corbinian Holzer.
He hasn't exactly had the benefit of great partners. Like,
No.
people talk about how Phaneuf has been terrible in Toronto the last couple of years.
Pylon.
Yeah, well, he's the worst. And he's not a good captain either. But he's had terrible partners. I mean, he's playing right side now, right?
He's playing wherever he wants.
Oh,
Just
okay.
Neon Dion. Yeah, I believe that was the key with him, and they wanted another right-hand shot with Polak. I think the name out there is Jake Gardiner. I wonder if they give Morgan Riley a shot.
Well, somebody said earlier in the Toronto organization that Riley and Gardner would be relied on more with Gunnarsson being moved out. So that could be a good thing in Toronto if they get more ice time.
So Randy Carlisle's decided that he likes Jake Gardiner, and the Leafs have decided that Jake Gardiner is good again, and they've forgiven him for getting that
changes day to day,
concussion.
doesn't it?
If I thought he remembered Jake Gardner's name, I would agree with you, but I don't know.
Right. That is sort of the weird thing here. On the other hand, and so looking at what the Leafs were going to do, they go out and they draft Nylander. And there it is, a highly skilled guy. Electrifying is the word that Dave Nonis used, so maybe a reason for optimism. Maybe the Leafs are willing to turn the page and recognize that scoring goals is a good way to win hockey games.
Well, see, I have a theory about that. It might not be the scoring. The Leafs are on their way to acquiring the most beautiful team in the National Hockey League. They got David Clarkson. His numbers aren't so good, but that jaw, right?
It's like a Roman prince.
Absolutely, yes, like
Yeah.
a chiseled Greek god.
There you
And
go,
they got
yeah.
Joffrey Lupul posing in fashion magazines, Jonathan Bernier with the hair.
So Kessel's gone then.
Right. It's a good
Hey,
point.
look, no,
It's a fair
someone
point.
has to score at some point. And you know what? He's got his own ruggedness about him, okay? Don't be so judgy. Jeez.
Okay.
But then you get Nylander. We talk about guys getting stick deals, glove deals. I want to see the first Leaf to get a shampoo deal. I think he's going to get it. He looks like a young DiCaprio. A little bit of King Joffrey, except not hateable.
And the question then becomes, though, and that's great, the endorsement opportunities in Toronto are enormous, but are the Leafs going to try to turn him into something else, or is his growth going to be encouraged as a dynamic offensive guy? Is that side of his game going to be nurtured? Do you have confidence that that's going to happen?
I do. Listen, I like to joke about how dumb they are, but I don't think you draft a guy like this without fully understanding what his capabilities are, and the high end is ridiculous with him. So let's hope he scores 900 hat tricks in his rookie year, wins the Calder, and we all have a Merry Christmas.
Seems an optimistic and realistic also way of approaching this.
That's the Leaf fan way.
Is he going to play? Do you think he's going to play this year?
This upcoming year? I wonder. I think it makes the Dave Boland situation very interesting.
Oh, right. I have to ask you about that.
Yeah, you do a little bit.
So, and I was going to leave that. So was it Claude Loiselle? No, I think it was Brendan Shanahan who today said
he doubled down on Boland,
and that he wants Boland to be a part of this team. Great. I mean, thanks. Dave Donis must be thinking this has really put me in a wonderful negotiating position.
Yeah, seriously.
So, I mean, would you be willing to part ways with Dave Boland?
Yeah, totally.
And
I think part of the hesitance is they gave up something to get him, right? The second-round picks in the trade or whatever. And, the big cup-winning goal. He's a clutch guy. Before he became a Leaf, I was in love with this guy. I loved having him on the team. But between the ankle injury and the sheer fact that he's not even close to being worth the amount of money he's asking for, why not give Nylander a shot? Why not give?
But he won a
why
Stanley
not do
Cup.
Anything. A lot of people have won a Stanley Cup.
Oh, Steve Simmons, he was very adamant about this. He won a Stanley Cup, therefore he is good.
Lots of guys have multiple Stanley Cups.
All right, Andrew Berkshire, let's talk Habs.
All right, let's do it.
We see, I'm looking at the first, I guess it was the first 4 picks for the Canadiens. The first pick, hey, wow, they got their guy. He fell, that's good. Then the second pick, the third pick, you're like, ooh, Trevor Timmins. I can't picture Trevor Timmins wanting to make these picks. And then, their fourth pick, they sort of bookended it.
It was a very Timmins pick.
With a very Timmins pick. So, are you feeling kind of torn the way a lot of Habs fans are about the way the draft went today?
In a way, but I think that when I spoke to Trevor Timmins earlier today, he mentioned repeatedly that this draft was not like the last 2 drafts where he didn't have a bunch of picks in good areas, right? Like he had his first-round pick, there was a low first-round pick, and they got lucky in that the guy that they wanted fell to them. And then from then on, they were waiting, and they were just, crossing names off the list. So the potential for getting impact guys was far less this year than it was last year with 3 second-round picks, or the year before where it was just a great draft and they were drafting really high. So considering the fact that they got Nikita Sherbak, who looks like he's going to be fantastic and has a boisterous personality that's going to be great in Montreal, and Daniel Audette, who seems to be extremely skilled and totally overwhelmed today to be drafted by the Canadiens, and it was pretty neat that the Canadiens didn't allow his father, Donald, who worked for the organization, to be involved at all. So he didn't know that he was going to be drafted. So I think with those 2 guys alone, they've got something there that you can look at this draft and say the other picks don't really matter in this grand scheme of things.
Is it not really weird to trade down to the extent that they did to get a guy who's ranked 129th, 130th by most people?
Are you talking about the 4th-round pick?
I'm talking about the kid from Winnipeg who plays for the...
they traded up for him.
The fighter. Sorry, yes, yeah.
Yeah, they traded up for him. It was kind of odd. It seemed like maybe Shane Churla might have had some impact on there. Trevor Timmins mentioned that he has a booming shot, which I guess he had 8 goals in junior this year. He doesn't have that much offensive potential. He had 22 points. It's tough for any defenseman to make the NHL if they're not getting 0.5 points per game in junior. It's just, statistically, it just doesn't happen very often. So I don't really like the pick, but, Trevor Timmins has always found a way to find these unlikely guys who make it.
Do you get the sense that he's still calling the shots?
I think it's 50-50, honestly.
A sneak preview.
Hi, Harrison.
Are we going to acknowledge this?
Sneak preview of our next segment.
Hi, Harrison.
Hi, that's Harrison Mooney. He's going to be joining us in just a few minutes, live on Hockey Primetime, but he's actually joining us right now, but you're not mic'd up, man. No one can hear you. Well, that's fine. That's fine. If that's what it's going to take to get you on, then so be it. I believe Pennsylvania to be one of the more forward-thinking states, so hopefully we can make that happen. It's you know what? It's a great time here. We're let's see here. I am up against the clock, so that's it. I have to call it quits. You guys, thank you very much for coming here and doing this. I really do appreciate it, especially last second for you, Steve. Andrew, I had him sitting around here waiting all afternoon, and I'm sorry for making you do that.
It's all right. I just did some work.
You did.
It's a tough job, but I'll accept the role of being the hero.
You got to make that blogger money. So good luck with that, and of course the podcast is paying the bills too, right?
A little bit.
So there you go. He's doing fine. Good luck and congratulations on the pending nuptials. I hope you guys have many happy years together. So many, in fact, that no years remain when all is said and done.
That was dark.
It was a little bit.
That got dark.
Thank you very much. This is Hockey Primetime on NHL Network Radio. Andrew Berkshire, Steve Danglekit. Habs eyes on the prize, the Leafs Nation. I am Conor McKenna. I don't have a website. I was thinking, though, good name for a website for me. Bear with me. Conorrhea.com.
Oh, my God. Don't do it, Connor.
I think it's a good idea. I don't know. We'll see. The show goes on. On the other side, Harrison Mooney will join me. We will talk about the crab fries here at Chickies and Pete's and all the other delicious things going on. That's what's coming up next when Hockey Primetime returns.